morning, everyone, and thank you for the invitation to come and speak here in this kind of fabulous building. I have a much better view than you do, clearly, but also you're very good looking, so that's important too. Just on the point of the corruption points that have been made this morning, I was at the United Nations in Vienna a couple of years ago, and one of the speakers put up a slide, and he said that the data actually shows that the most corrupt nations are the ones with the fastest economic growth. And I just thought, you're just messing with my mind now, because that goes against everything that we think. And obviously we're not advocating corruption as an economic development tool. But I think it's important that we should always be questioning our assumptions, and we should always be looking at the data to support those assumptions. It's a massive part of what we do in innovation. Okay, Business Durham. I work for Business Durham. It's an economic development company for County Durham. We're actually a team within Durham County Council, so not technically a company. But we lead on innovation with investment, property, business engagement, and enterprise for the whole of County Durham, which is quite a big county in the north east of England. I have a feeling that I'm in the wrong session, and also I am definitely in the wrong room, because procurement is not actually the issue for me. There is nothing wrong with our procurement policies in the way that I need to use them. The issue is much more fundamental than that. It's actually, I work for a local authority, and there are very few local authorities that in the teeth of austerity continue to pay the wages of a crazy person like me, who will actually go out and find crazy ideas and work to implement them. So the issue is not actually procurement, it's about capacity building. And it was interesting to note the last speaker he mentioned my contribution, but also the industrial strategy for Britain. And in the public procurement section of that, local authorities are completely absent, as far as I can tell, despite the fact that we spend billions in our local economies every year. So there is that sense of place. I guess I'm lucky that Durham County Council is prepared to be pioneering. We are prepared to take risks. We've already exceeded our social value targets. This is another tool in our toolkit. We just launched our own venture capital fund as well. So we are prepared to be pioneering. And I think that really does count. But I do wonder if research, anyway, UK, or IUK, whatever it's called these days, were to fund a crazy person in every single local authority, whether we might get some interesting results in economic development terms. The reason that procurement is not the issue for me is that it's the how, and actually it's the why that's really important, and that's what I'm going to focus on today. So, just move on. This is called the Magic Beans Project. This is a title that was given to us by our head of procurement at Durham County Council. That's not our head of procurement. That would be a lot easier if it were. I don't have managed cats, as you can tell. But it's obviously from Shrek, if there's any copyright. But he called it the Magic Beans Project because you just don't know. We're buying stuff, but we don't know what it's going to turn into. And that was the key point for him. I'm very pleased that this, as we do reference, if everyone's familiar with what this is. This is an infographic by Mariana Mazzucato, who I've been referred to today. And she shows how the iPhone, which we've all got, would not be possible without government funding, obviously, without public procurement of innovation. So Apple, which is one of the biggest private sector companies in the world, is actually dependent on government intervention. So that infographic got us thinking, or it got me thinking anyway. And then I was thinking about smart cities, smart county, how do we play into that whole arena, that landscape? And this is a phrase used by the British Standards Institute to describe smart cities. And the reason that the built is highlighted in red is because it's used to describe smart cities. And I said to them, well, people in rural areas, like County Durham, we also live in a built environment. We don't live in tents, you know. So how can we actually make this concept work for us as a county? And it suddenly sprung to mind that our biggest problems, we have massive health inequalities in County Durham. It's one of the poorest areas in Northern Europe. It's actually the third poorest area in Northern Europe, which is shocking in the fifth largest economy in the world. And we have issues with our environment, but these are seen as problems. And I'm thinking, well, if we can link those problems to our existing innovation support infrastructure, then maybe they can become our biggest assets in terms of stimulating activity in the private sector. So rather than the government thinking we have to do everything, why can't we just de-risk that arena and encourage the private sector to come and solve these problems? So the idea behind this is it becomes a virtuous cycle. So local capabilities solving local problems, which should lead to more economic activity and fewer problems in the long term. This is the aim of it. But it doesn't come from nowhere, by the way. This comes from an awful lot of reading, some of which you're very familiar with. And this one here, I'm delighted to can you see it? Yeah, this one here, I'm delighted to see that front and centre in the industrial strategy. That's David Connell paper, Creating Markets for Things That Don't Exist, not just because we're mentioned in it, but actually it is an incisive, not to say excoriating analysis of how SBRI should be used more effectively. So the narrative, let me go back to the narrative. Why does this matter? The first time we approached doing this was looking at our public health. So my boss, about 3 years ago, my boss came into the office. He'd just been to East Durham, and he said, "Do you know what life expectancy in Easington is?" And Easington is a very, very poor, deprived community. And I said, "No," and he told me, and I went, "Oh, God." And he said, "Aren't you shocked?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Do you want to go and do something about that then?" I went, "Just me on my own. What do I know about health? What do I know about healthcare? What do I know about public health?" So we thought we should do something anyway. So we went and talked to our public health colleagues. And what was really interesting was trying to align our objectives. So on that side, you can see our objectives. On this side, you can see their objectives. And what struck me was that their objectives measure the past. So you can talk about diabetes, you can talk about tobacco, you can talk about alcohol, but we talk about jobs for the future, companies for the future, prosperity in the future. So this was a really interesting revelation to us. And how do we marry that up? Well, we think what we need to do is actually animate the quadruple helix of innovation. So you've heard about the triple helix of innovation? Well, we want to animate the quadruple helix. So this is about government, public, academia, industry and citizen engagement all coming together to actually try and find ways to solve our own problems, the problems that profoundly affect all of us. And this is the narrative point that I'm trying to make here. This was a point really made very well by Voyager. And you remember, well, actually some of you are probably too young to remember NASA's Voyager mission when it was launched. But Voyager was a scientific, technical mission. It was a mission in pursuit of knowledge. But what NASA did very cleverly was that they put this on board. Do you remember the golden record? So the golden record was a representation of humans. So if an alien would ever find Voyager, it would actually try and understand what humans were. So a scientific mission, a technical mission, was transformed into a conversation about what it meant to be a human. Our arts, going back to your point, how does dance affect what I do? It's intrinsically bound within it, because they tell narratives that inspire us and engage us. Our culture, our history, our language. And so that for me became always the starting point of we need a narrative to inspire people, to engage people, to catalyse them, to make them understand they can contribute and they can get involved. We need a flag. So I asked my colleagues in public health, if you had to wave a magic wand, what is the one thing that we could work on together? What is the one thing that we could use as a flag to animate that entire network to solve a problem that would transform public health in County Durham? And they said, we would actually try and solve social isolation because it underpins so many different health issues. So I said, fine, now I have a story, now I have a flag, now I have something that will actually animate the network. And we did a whole, this actually sums up quite a long program called the Smart County Innovation Program. I won't go through it in detail, you can come and talk to me afterwards. But essentially it is a managed open innovation program with SBRI on the end. So this is one of the stories that we tell. We also tell a story around using satellite data in space in order to create a safer world. This is a very different approach to economic development. We don't say that we're world class in a particular sector. We say that we want to be world class in solving problems that affect us all. So we are sector agnostic. So it has three things. Long term, more and better jobs. We recognise that economic development is in itself a public health activity. In the medium term, better preventative healthcare. And in the short term, opportunities for economic development. And this is the point where I said, why don't we use SBRI? And our procurement team went, what? So nothing's stopping us using SBRI. Absolutely nothing. The mechanisms are there. The procurement process is there. It's just hadn't been used in a local authority context before. And at some point I was in Brussels and I listened to Professor Kevin Morgan, who I'm sure is known to a lot of you. And he said one thing: public procurement is the sleeping giant of EU innovation policy. And that really set off a lot of fireworks in my head, because that's what I had been thinking all this time, and actually said, what can we do as a local authority to actually deliver this? And he used this very, very pivotal thing, which is that public procurement is about innovation, but it's also about compliance. And it's about, take risks, but don't make any mistakes. So this was the process that we had to work through with our procurement team and our legal team, all of whom were incredibly open and up for it and prepared to take a risk. And I think, if I look back, I think it's because we had that narrative behind it. We weren't actually going to them and saying, we want you to do this for no reason. We were going to them saying, we need to fundamentally change how we deliver economic development and health in County Durham. So we are the first, we believe we're the first local authority to do it. We keep saying that and no one's contradicting it, so hopefully we are first. Not going to the market with predefined solutions. This was the biggest culture change that we went through with our procurement team, is that the mechanisms were set up for buying stuff, for buying things. That's all lovely. And what we're saying is, we want to buy things that don't exist yet. We want to buy some magic beans, because we just don't know where it's going to go. We also said everyone working together might create better solutions. And this is a common theme, I think, in local authority, particularly procurement, is that they go out to market with a predefined solution and market goes, well, if you consulted us first, we might have told you something different. So it's a question of putting that open innovation programme at the start, managing it, de-risking it for people to engage in it, getting a powerful narrative, and then using these established mechanisms, so our established procurement mechanisms, SBRI, to actually buy innovation from the private sector. But I think this is probably the most important point, because we can get lost in the how and the mechanisms and the processes. If we're not delivering a better quality of life and our economic opportunity, then what are we doing? Why do we get up in the morning? And for me, public procurement and SBRI is a hugely important tool in how we do that. We can de-risk the opportunities, but we need an ambitious, emotionally engaging narrative, and we need that effective framework in place. And that's where I think we are different to most local authorities. We have that mindset. So, that's my last slide. So I'll get to time, I think. And what this shows is the importance of a flag to rally people around. It shows the importance of partnership working in really, really big, ambitious projects. And it shows the fact that we might not actually reach our destination yet. I don't think we're at the North Pole yet by a long, long way. But we are quite a way down that line. So thank you very much. I'm happy to take any questions at the